side of him. I think he's still that same Steve. He's still that. But now you're also seeing another side of him that he never had.
He got it. Everybody thinks Steve Harvey's some stand-up man. No, I'm a kiss the old girl who owned TV One. He used to kiss her. He had the radio show.
Comedians don't appreciate their jokes being stolen, and Steve Harvey has rubbed several comedians the wrong way. Well, it looks like Harvey has found him.
Side of him, I think he's still that same Steve. He's still that. Now you're also seeing another side of him that he never had to show. That's how he got it. Everybody think. Steve Harvey, some stand-up B-kiss, old girl who owned TV One, he used to kiss her, had the radio show Out Here comedians. Don't appreciate their jokes being stolen, and Steve Harvey has rubbed several comedians the wrong way. Well, it looks like Harvey has found himself in some trouble again. Hey folks, you won't believe the buzz going around. It's like Hollywood is turning into one big reality show. The word on the street is that Hollywood is in this cleansing mode, trying to expose celebs who we all thought were golden, but surprised they might be more like tarnished silver. So check this out. There's this rumor making the rounds that our man Steve Harvey might be in some serious hot water. I know, right? The guy who's been the face of all things classy and comedic might be on the brink of a major fall from grace. Apparently, a bunch of comedians are stepping forward to spill some serious beans on Steve Harvey. The rumor mill is churning, and it's saying that these allegations against Steve Harvey are not just your everyday petty stuff. They're supposedly massive, earth-shattering accusations. It's like a Hollywood version of Who Done It with Steve Harvey in the spotlight. But what exactly are these heinous crimes? And who are these comedians that are so determined to see Steve Harvey out of society? I mean, can you imagine the chaos this could unleash as the grapevine spreads? We're all left hanging eagerly, waiting for the big reveal. Is it a case of mistaken identity? Or has the Steve Harvey we all thought we knew been hiding some dark secrets? Only time will tell, my friends. So grab your popcorn, and let's get into it now. You won't believe the drama surrounding Steve Harvey. It's like a soap opera on steroids. So get this. It's not just his friendships taking a hit. It's like the guy's become public enemy number one, and it's not just his buddies or work pals who are giving him the cold shoulder. It's a widespread feeling of from both inside and outside the industry. By the way, this is the same guy who rails against people who don't believe in his particular voodoo right against gay people, against Asians. So Steve's in hot water for more than just your run-of-the-mill falling out with friends. It turns out the dude's got a laundry list of accusations against him, and it's juicier than a reality TV plot. You'd think a guy who's all about being a global patriarch would have a squeaky clean rise to fame. Right, well, think again. Rumor has it that Steve's journey to the top wasn't exactly the fairy tale we all imagined. There are whispers about him spinning tales and caught up in some not-so honest moves to secure his spot. And that's not the worst of it. There are reports floating around that he might have snagged material from lesser-known comics. But wait, there's more. Steve, the relationship with the family man image, seems to be juggling a messy personal life while he's parading around with his wife and family. He's also playing the part of a relationship expert. Even wrote a book about it. You'd expect him to have the secret recipe for a perfect relationship tucked away, right? Surprise, that's not the case. And if that's not enough, it seems like Steve's got a knack for being different things to different people. It's like he's wearing different masks, depending on the crowd. No wonder folks in the entertainment biz are giving him the side eye. The details keep piling up, and it's becoming clearer why Steve Harvey is becoming the not-so-favorite guy in Hollywood. Now the stakes are even higher as even more damaging news has come out about the comic in recent times, and these details seem to prove that Steve's actions have been a long time coming, some of which even happened against people he called his brothers. In the industry, we're finally outing the celebrity host for what Ho, it looks like he truly is, according to the accounts of those people who have had direct interactions with him. So first off this list is none other than Mark Curry. You know how comedians are about their jokes. Right, well, it turns out Steve Harvey may have stepped on a few toes. Or should I say, punchlines in the cutthroat world of showbiz. Borrowing a little inspiration from your fellow celebs is one thing, but straight-up joke theft, that's like stepping into a comedy minefield. Mark Curry is not my sing words. He's putting Steve Harvey on blast for allegedly swiping his material on a major stage. It's like he's calling out the man we all thought was the comedy king for not being as original as his brand makes him out to be. Now we've all heard stories about the tangled web of drama in the entertainment biz, right? But here's the kicker, Steve Harvey isn't exactly a stranger to this kind of mess. He's been in the middle of similar problems before. And now, with Mark Curry adding his claims to the mix, it's like we're peeling back layers of Steve's success story that didn't quite make it into his best-selling book. Normally, when someone's throwing accusations around, it's because not exactly sitting on top of the success mountain, right? Well, that's not the case with Mark Curry, and that's what's keeping this whole Steve Harvey drama in the headlines. It's not your typical scenario. Mark Curry is not your average accuser. Back in the 90s, when becoming a star was like hitting the jackpot, Mark was live. The dream started in stand-up globe, trotted packed-out comedy spots. The whole 9 yards. Now he has taken aim at some big shots in the entertainment game, calling them out as nothing but joke-stealing frauds, and guess who's in the spotlight first? Steve Harvey. So, in a couple of recent chats, Mark spilled the beans, claiming that Steve Harvey straight up recycled his material for jokes on his shows. And this isn't a new. Mark's been throwing shade about Steve lifting his jokes way back when on Harvey's NBC talk show. Alright, so there's this explosive video, and it's got Steve Harvey and Mark Curry tangled up in some serious comedy. Mark's claiming that Steve, who used to host Little Big Shots on NBC, swiped not one but two of his jokes. And get this, Mark says he already confronted Steve about in the past, but the alleged joke thievery kept happening. Thing with Steve Harvey is that he used his my material on both his platforms. Yeah, after I talked to him, I saw him at DJ. I went up and talked to him. I said, man, you're using my material now. Mark, who's 62, spilled the tea to TMZ, saying that Steve jacked his Halloween bit, a personal story about growing up. But Steve wasn't having any of it. He straight up denied the accusations, saying Mark couldn't even name the supposedly stolen joke. Things got heated real quick, with Steve telling Mark to get life and get a career. Steve went on a rant, saying he hasn't stolen a joke in 35 years, and dared Mark to name the joke he's talking about. He even threw it N.A. grow up, man, for good measure. But here's the kicker, Mark wasn't just making stuff up. The comedian came armed with receipts, proving his point and turning up the heat in this comedy feud. Mark Curry says that you're still stealing his jokes. Hi man, listen to me. Yeah, now this I'm getting sick of. This right here. Yeah, Mark Curry need to grow up. Steve Harvey ain't been on stage since 2015. Curry took his with Steve Harvey to Instagram and dropped some serious receipts in a video that's now deleted. Basically, he called out Steve for allegedly stealing a bunch of jokes from him for his show. In this video, Mark compared an episode from his 90s sitcom, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, where he talked about rocking a brown box as a U-piece costume for Halloween surprise. Steve made the exact same joke in a 2015 episode of his show. And here's the kicker, other comedians like Cat Williams jumped in and had Mark's back. All right, let's rewind the clock to December 2008, when Steve Harvey and Cat Williams found themselves in the headlines. These two haven't exactly been best buds for over a decade, and there's a story behind it. So Cat Williams decided to call out Steve Harvey right before a Christmas season show, and things got wild. Picture this, Jamie Foxx, who was a radio host at the time, throws shade into the mix by playing a clip of Williams dissing Steve Harvey. Cat on the phone goes on a rant, saying, I want to apologize for what's going to happen, hinting at their upcoming joint comedy gig. But here's the catch. Icker. He drops the bomb, telling Steve that once he hits the stage, it's game over for him as the king of comedy, Steve Harvey. Then calls in baffled by the whole situation. He tells Jamie and the crew, "I've always been cool with Cat," explaining that back in Law, he didn't even know who Cat Williams was. Imagine that Steve Harvey asking whoever Cat Williams is, "Call me." So Cat Williams didn't hold back in a recent interview, laying into Steve Harvey. Cat straight up called out Steve for supposedly being jealous of Bernie Mac, spilling the tea on their years long. According to Cat, Bernie felt Steve was trying to mess with his movie roles, even attempting to snatch a role in Ocean's 11, creating major tension. Cat went on to claim that Steve, in an appearance on Club Shot, tried to act all nonchalant about not wanting to be a movie star, but according to Cat, Steve was secretly trying to compete with Bernie Mac for movie roles. And that's not all. Cat also accused Steve of stealing material from another comedian, Mark Curry, and allegedly lying about being homeless. In Cat's words, the same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he's the principal, wearing a suit and rocking a high-top fade, making all black men think he's got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit, not the real deal. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. I didn't want to